Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a layout share with you, and I'm going to show you all the layouts that I made using the Designer Series paper pack by Stampin' Up. This is the Halloween Spells paper pack with the sticker sheet along with the coordinating two-toned cardstock. And my last two videos show the processes for these. The first one shows a little bit more in depth of a couple of layouts, and the other video shows the rest of them quickly, but does show a little bit of how I created them. So I did not turn my light on, so I apologize if this is a little darker than usual. I'm trying to avoid the glare on these layouts. So I'll show you these two last. So I was able to make 13 12 by 12 layouts and 2 6 by 8 layouts. So I'm just going to show you these. I've mentioned before that I scrapbook an album for each of my kids until they basically turn 18, as well as a family album, and then some 6 by 8 albums for specific things such as pets, and my older son who is 26, and so I don't do a 12 by 12 layout for him, 12 by 12 album for him anymore, but I still want to document stuff when he's around, so I make him a small 6 by 8 pages. So here's the first one. This is all using the supplies from that kit that I told you. I did bring in a few of my own things from my stash, but this is the first one. This is the second one. I did some of my own stamping on this one with stickers, and this one is mostly from the papers. I did use this spider and the Happy Halloween, this spider web, and these two were rub-ons from an old rub-on kit that I had. This one I have an in-depth process video for. I explained this came off of a greeting card, and it just worked out perfectly. It was actually a greeting card for her birthday. Had nothing to do with Halloween. And it actually came a year after this Halloween, so it just worked out nicely. This is an old Stampin' Up. It's kind of like a stamp, but it's more of it's a big plastic sheet that you use a brayer roller or a stamp pad and you stamp it on there, but it's not a rubber stamp. You can see that in my video. And these came from Close to My Heart stamp set that is no longer available, but came out right before they closed. And then this is a single page layout for the family album. Shows each of the 3 kids in their costumes. This was also from my stash. This is the spider web and the coordinating punch is an old Stampin' Up set. That glue isn't holding real well. And the bats are also from the Close to My Heart set that came out right before they closed. Single page layout here of my daughter. This is for her album. This is all from the kit. This is ribbon that I had in my stash, and more of these glitter stickers that I had in my stash. This one I think also has a pretty in-depth process video. I used a round stencil that I had gotten from another kit. The bats are from the kit. All of this page came out of those papers from Stampin' Up, with the exception of the stencil. And I explained in my video, you don't have to have the stencil to make this. You could have left the stencil off, or just did some ink blending, or do no inking at all, and that would be just fine. This one is my daughter's. This was made from a lot of the scraps from these pages. As I cut the papers down, I kept the scraps, and I was able to piece this all together, and I didn't add much of embellishments on it because I like the paper piecing. These pieces are from a chipboard set that I got at a garage sale years ago. This is a double page layout. I used this, I made this one using inspiration from a sketchbook, the Close to My Heart sketchbook. I made a few changes to it, but that's where the inspiration came from. And again, I didn't add a whole lot of extra to this. I just didn't feel like it needed it, and I don't like to do unnecessary scrapping if I don't have to. This is another 2-page layout. This is one where I tried to mimic the workshop kit, which I didn't purchase, but it had this really cool spiderweb paper. I had these stickers in my stash, so I kind of recreated the workshop layouts that Stampin' Up! Created and made some changes and turned it into my own. This one is also double page layout, and this is also using a lot of the scraps. I was able to make these banners at the bottom with leftover scraps. I was able to cut the backing, the mats for these squares out of that. I made these little tags out of scraps, and I had just enough to make this wavy border on the edges. I did use a Kiwi Lane template for that, but you could just as easily draw a wave on your pages and cut them out to mimic the same thing. And then last but not least, I have these two 6x8 pages. Pretty simple. I just used scraps again that were left over to get those. So out of all of those pages, I still have very few scraps left. I do have a full piece of one paper left that it's a pool party, not a themed paper. It's this paper actually right here. I have a full sheet of that left and some extras and very few little bits and pieces of the rest of the paper. So I did tuck them away in case I ever do like a plain white background paper with just a few tags or something on it. I would have some of those to use. So I just tucked them away with the rest of my Halloween stash and may use those in the future. So please check out the last two videos that I posted if you want to see more about how I put all of these together.